Happy New Year to everybody. It's good to see everybody here. Before we begin, I would like to formally express my appreciation to my colleague, Dr. Schwab, for handling the rest of our December meeting as neatly as she did. I got called out on a family emergency. I did, which is all going well. Thank you for everybody that's reached out. But I did watch the rest of the meeting and wanted to stay abreast of what transpired and the good work that you all did. And thank you very much, Dr. Schwab. Again, welcome back and welcome to our second semester and our new year. A couple of notes, housekeeping notes. I want to make clear, and the executive committee discussed this in our last meeting, please be aware that the mics in front of you are extremely sensitive and are recording everything you say, including whispering. Okay? And so there was some concern about that. Also, prior to this meeting, there were recordings that began before 2:30 and went on after the meeting adjourned. And we spoke with Ms. Leffler and the tech team that have subsequently been edited such that the recordings begin at 2:30 and end at the moment that the meeting has adjourned. But also be aware that as we step up and as we exit the room, the mics may still be live, okay? VA. I also wanted to make mention in passing, before we get started with our meeting, that the annual meeting of the Texas Council of Faculty Senates will take place in San Antonio the last weekend of this month. Colleague at large, Mr. Fidel, and I are both going. I've requested that we both go because I'm on a one-year term, he is on a two-year term, and I felt that it was important that there be some type of continuity in terms of the representation at that meeting. Okay? Now, Dr. Benavides, have you distributed the minutes?
Yes.
I would like to make a motion for the approval of the minutes from December 2nd. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Dr. Sullivan. Again, as a gentle reminder, if you speak before the mic, and this includes our gracious public, if you speak before a mic, please identify yourself by name before you speak, so that to help Dr. Benavides. Do I have a second?
Dr. Perez, I second the motion.
Thank you, sir. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, thank you so very much. Next on the agenda, and I also want to mention to those of you that may be, for a gentle reminder, for anybody that may be watching the live stream, our meeting agenda is broadcast on the screen in this room. That same agenda, Ms. Leffler has put in on the Faculty Council website, and it's accessible under the link that says Meeting and Agendas. In addition, drafts of our minutes are put there prior to this meeting and will be modified if there are any modifications made in the course of our meeting. Furthermore, one more housekeeping note. Again, as a gentle reminder, we meet the first Tuesday of every month unless we discuss otherwise. The agendas are put together in executive committee 2 weeks beforehand. We then get those agendas to Ms. Leffler and her team, and those are available online, again, through the meeting and agenda link prior to the meeting. So every once in a while we get an email message, an inquiry about where is the meeting, where is the agenda, and whatnot. Please remember that one of our best resources is that Faculty Council website. Okay. Next up, we have policy updates, and AVP Quander said she would like to speak up to us about those.
Sure. Okay. Is this good? Okay, so from the faculty affairs perspective, we have a few policies that will be coming out. They're in different stages of drafts. The first one is 10A06, which is the faculty dismissal policy. It had been approved under the previous shared governance process, but we had to share it with legal counsel, legal counsel. They had some changes that they asked us to make. So because of that, we'll send it back again for open comment period. So we're waiting, I think, just for one more review from legal counsel, and then it'll come out again. You may have received the information about the new SAM. I'm just going to call it Dealing with International Collaborations. It's a longer title. But anyway, under that policy, each university in the system is charged with coming up with a process to review any informal or formal collaboration with what they're calling countries of concern. So we now have foreign adversaries and also kind of like countries of concern that I think they're looking at maybe updated. They're saying they're going to be updated on a quarterly basis. The person who is at the system level, she's in charge of export control, will be sending me the countries of concern every quarter. I will make those available to not just the faculty, but to everybody. And then if you are planning on doing any sort of collaboration with one of these countries, there is a review process that happens internally, and then we'll have to go to system for their approval. Okay, so that policy will be coming out. Again, we're still working with the export control representative at system. Questions about those two before I move on? Yeah.
I know, if I'm not mistaken, that Governor Abbott listed a list of countries that not only could we, it was forbidden for state funds to be used for research projects, study abroad, etc. Are those the list of, are those the countries of concern, or are there?
So those are foreign adversaries.
Okay.
So that is, for the most part, we're not to have any sort of formal collaborations with. Now, we've had a couple of situations where a faculty member has said, hey, this is the engagement that I'm going to be doing with one of those countries, and if it's not clear cut, then we take it to system, to the export control person who's really, I've even sent people to her to just email her directly and she'll respond. So I think if there's a question, so those countries, those are what we're saying, what they're defining as foreign adversaries. The countries of concern, I think maybe like emerging issues. Somebody pointed me to where they might be, but until we actually get the list from system, let's not guess in terms of what we're talking about. But they do have to update us on a quarterly basis. Okay, other policies coming up. We have a writing group for the grievance policy. We had a request to make changes to the grievance policy. So there's a faculty writing group that is going to start work on that. I'm going to point her out because she's here. Kate is the representative for Faculty Affairs Council, who is part of that writing group. And so we haven't really started at all, but as we send out, or I don't know, maybe she'll report back. I don't know. Let's see how far we get first before we give her tasks. Okay, we also have the department chair policy will be coming out, and there is a new policy we're working on that just sort of spells out, we have a policy about quote, like nepotism for employee relationships, but it's kind of come up that we probably also need something with respect to teaching, right? So that you're not teaching your child or your spouse or your mother, father, any of that. So that'll be coming too. Let me just do one shout out to my take, because she's sitting back there, Ann Sway. If you have not been to the policy SharePoint page, I will say I've been faculty. I've sat on all the shared governance policy committees at this point, and then now in administration. And this is the first time that I can go somewhere and literally look at all the policies that people are working on, what stage they're in, where the comments are, all of that. So if you haven't had a chance, it is a major accomplishment, and I'm really appreciative. And that's it. Any other questions? Questions? All right.
Could I follow that you unawares. You've done really wonderful work with the policy. Could you give us a couple of pointers when you send out your email blasts about where a policy is, searching for input, what kind of input you're expecting from whom and a timeline?
Sure.
Please.
So Maite Alvarez, Policy Manager, Compliance Coordinator. So I'm trying to send them out on Fridays. That's my goal, but we don't want to slow the process. So we will send them out as we receive them. So there are some editing that we do just to make sure that everything looks right. We have a clean copy and a red line copy of policies that are undergoing revisions. And we create a news post that is sent out on Fridays or whenever we receive the policy. And we send it out to all faculty, staff, and student employees. And it will have buttons for you to go to a Smartsheet form where you'll write in your comment section, anything that you want to address from your perspective to the editors of the policies or the stakeholders. So when you receive those emails, it'll give you the timeline that comment period is going to be open. So then you can go and make your comment, set your section or anything that you would like. And right now it's been about maybe 2 weeks that we receive the comments, give the stakeholders some time to review them and then respond. And so in about 2-3 weeks, I'll send out another news post like I did this morning, where it gives you the update of, okay, for these policies, they were sent out for comment period in December. Here's the site page where you can go and find your comment if you want to review the responses that were received. Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Alvarez? Thank you again so
Thank
much
you.
for the work that you all are doing.
Thank you.
Next up on our agenda, do we have any core curriculum review updates? Thank you, Provost.
Deborah Bordelon. I just wanted to give this body an update on where we are with the core curriculum review. It was sent out to the deans and the chairs to do an initial review, and many of you as faculty may have worked with your deans and chairs on providing some input on the core curriculum. This week I have a meeting with our general counsel. They too have done a review. So the stage where we're at right now is phase 1. If you remember the memo that the president sent out, we're going through to identify those courses that may need further review, further input. Doesn't mean that they cannot be part of the core, but we do need to take a look at them. Some courses may come out of the core. Again, at this point, we're still in that review process. So I will be able to, once I meet with the general counsel to get their input, it will be sent back out to the deans and the chairs to, again, take a look at those courses that may need further review. What we'll do at that point as well is perhaps maybe pull together some small groups depending on what kinds of comments I receive from the general counsel. And that way we can talk through what does this mean. So at this point we're still in that initial phase, and I'll continue to give you updates as we move along. Once we have an idea of where we are with the courses, and I will say we do have some core courses that we have never offered since 2019, 0 sections. I'll be honest with you, those most probably will be coming out. But as we look at the other courses, we'll take a look at it, and then I will bring that list, once we have an idea of where we're going with the courses, to the University Curriculum Council to take a look at. And again, to continue the conversation. Then we will, just going to double check my timeline here. After the Curriculum Council, we will be working with the system office. For phase 3, we'll do a final analysis which will be presented to the Board of Regents. And that most probably, excuse me, will be at our May 2026 meeting. So again, the spring semester, a lot of time will be spent on this process. I also need to give you a heads up that the coordinating board, and we've talked a little bit about this, they're also taking a look at the core curriculum. So this review, we're looking at it from the lens of SB 37, are we in compliance? The coordinating board is also reviewing the core. The core may change. Again, they're still in their stages. They're looking at, the various component areas. They're looking at the number of hours in the core. They have subgroups that are representative of of institutions across the state. They're in that process. We had a chief academic officers meeting for all of the state institutions in Texas. It was about mid-January. And so we had someone from the coordinating board present. He shared some information, and that, again, they're still in that process. He couldn't really tell us a whole lot, but as we are moving forward, I will share that information with you. It does not mean, once, I think August is their deadline to get it to the coordinating board. Once we know what they what they decide to do as a state for us to move forward, I will bring it to the campus and we'll start taking a look at our core. Does not mean that our core will change for fall of '26, but again, most probably fall of '27 we'll have to put some things in place. So right now there are lots of things up in the air. Again, as I get more information, I will definitely share it with you. But right now, as a campus, we're still in that review for the SB 37 compliance.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments on the part of the council? Yes, please.
Kenda Johnson, and you may not have this answer, but I was just thinking, on the other side of this, have they spoke to like a cadence of how often will the core curriculum be reviewed thereafter, or is it just kind of up in the air still?
That's a fantastic question, and I'm trying to remember if they had it in it's in SB 37, and I can't remember if they put a time frame, if it's every 10 years or 5 years, so I can double check on that, but that's a very good question.
Any other questions? One more follow-up. You said a course might be pulled out of the core. If it's pulled out of the core, does that mean that it's no longer to be offered at the university?
That's another good question. Not necessarily. And right now, as a system, we're focusing on the core. We may be looking at other courses down the road. I have to be very honest with you. But if it's pulled out of the core, does not mean that we cannot offer it. Just may not be part of the core curriculum. Will it be part of further reviews? Possibly. But at this point, we're focusing in on the core curriculum.
Thank you. I mentioned that in part because if a course has not been offered, that doesn't mean that it might not be offered in the future. And if I can understand pulling it from the core if it hasn't been offered, but as a course offering, and especially when many faculty have done due diligence in designing the course, it would be disturbing if it went away entirely just because it hadn't been offered recently.
One of the concerns, and again, from 2019 to now, if it hasn't been offered, I do think we have to have a conversation on it'll come out of the core, but also, is this a course that anyone is interested in offering? Now, once the core is finalized, once we get all the guidance from the coordinating board, that doesn't mean that we cannot offer or propose additional courses for the core moving forward. That's a possibility. But if it's been 5 years and we've offered 0 sections, I have to be honest with you, it bears a question as to how viable is that particular course. So yes, it can come out of the core, doesn't mean that we can't offer it, but those that have not been offered for that long, we have to have a conversation. There were a couple of courses that were recently proposed, and I believe one was just recently approved, and again, it shows up as 0. We know that one's just starting off, so that one's going to stay. But for some of these, they've been on the books for an extended period of time.
Yes, Dr. Sullivan.
Nell Sullivan. Just to follow up, I thought there was actually a coordinating board rule that a course that was not offered every so often had to be pulled out of your catalog.
I believe so, but I don't think they have been monitoring that as much. So, to be honest with you, and I think it's incumbent upon us to do more of that monitoring, and we have not pulled those courses.
Tony Hong. So is the review of the core just to remove courses that shouldn't be in the core, or is there an opportunity to revise or revamp and modify existing classes?
Excellent question. We, again, as we see courses that, there are some questions about or require further review, it's possible that they could be revised and submitted for re-review. Doesn't mean that they have to be pulled completely. And it could be that there, in looking at the law, there could be an assignment, there could be something that is in that course that we may need to take a look at. Does not mean that the whole course comes out, but it has been identified for further review. So even though, and like I said, once I get an idea also from our general counsel where we are with their review, as we look at those courses, we may just need to take a look at them and see what kinds of revisions we may need to make in order to move that course forward.
Captain Shoemaker, who are going to be involved in those communications? Like, are you going to go back to the faculty that typically teach that, or is that going to be a further in the process decision?
Once we have the courses, they'll go back to the deans and the chairs to meet with the faculty who are teaching those courses to talk about, what are the concerns that have been raised. And like I said, we may have to do some small group kind of meeting to kind of go through those courses, but it does go back to the deans and the chairs to take a look at. Sure.
Any other comments, questions, concerns? Thank you so much, both. The next item on our agenda is the 2025 Faculty Handbook. Dr. Quander, would you like to say anything about it, or are we good?
Unless there's a question.
Dr. Pitts?
Yes. Ashley Petz from CHSS. I just have a quick question.
Sure.
If we see something small, like a broken link, do we just email you or
However,
the person?
You could just, I'll take all of that.
Okay.
Yeah, anybody who wants to edit
Okay.
is great.
Yeah, that was it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? With that question in mind, I'd also, Dr. Roundtree is not able to attend today, but I want to send a shout out to him. He went through that entire handbook, page by page, line by line, and actually, Dr. Petz, he caught out of all of the links, I think he said there were 7 that didn't work. He fixed them, and I subsequently sent that to Dr. Quander. So
There are a
thank
lot
you.
of links in there. So.
Thank you so much for the work that the task force did, and also for Dr. Roundtree's eagle eye.
Yeah, and then we have some time, so if people do want to take a closer look and look at that, I'm happy to take the feedback.
Thank you, thank you. Is there any other discussion about the handbook? I sent the link out, or the copy, I think last week, maybe a week and a half ago. May I hear a motion to accept the draft of the 2025 Faculty Handbook?
Luke Fidel, CHS's motion to accept the 2025 Faculty Handbook.
Thank you, Mr. Fidel. Do I hear a second?
Ashley Petz, second.
Thank you, Dr. Petz. All those any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed, say nay. Do I have any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you all so very much for your good work. We now will continue with, I'm not sure, is someone here to speak about? Pardon? Is anybody here to speak?
Yeah, I'll speak about it.
Please.
Yeah, so, we have the faculty ombud search committee going on, and we're gonna meet next week. We have 3 applications, I believe, already that have been submitted, and we're in the process of reviewing them. And we're also gonna, talk about, next week, we're gonna talk about the interview schedule and all these different things that we need for the search. But the search is, ongoing, and we're making progress towards that, thanks to Dr. Plunker's leadership and everybody else's efforts.
Thank you so much, Dr. Perez. Any questions about the Ombuds search? Comments? Yes, Dr. Sullivan.
Sorry if I missed this, but how many people have applied?
3 people. We have 3 applications right now. Yeah.
Thank you.
Seems to be rather robust.
Yeah.
Competitive enough.
And from different departments across the university, so that's also helpful. Yeah.
Well, again, thank you so much for that. Thank you for your report, Dr. Perez. I'm not sure is there someone here that can speak to the faculty compensation follow-up? I know we had a meeting this morning, but then we'll follow that up. Oh, Dr. Ponder?
So I think we remember when VP Clary was here in the fall and kind of just gave some broad information. We had a meeting today where she presented more in-depth data. The next step would be to take kind of the findings and the plans to the deans and the chairs. And so once they get a chance to kind of look over it, then we talked about, I guess I don't even know what we came up with, but some sort of presentation to the larger community to talk about the plans for moving forward. So, and I will say we're also, she had an opportunity to meet with the department chairs regarding adjunct pay as well. And so that's another area we're looking at, separate from this, but so.
Are there any further questions about the faculty compensation survey? Comments? Thank you, Dr. Ponder. We will now continue to our standing agenda items, our Shared Governance Council reports. Would somebody care to speak about the most recent activity on the part of the University Curriculum Council? Dr. Henson?
The number of proposals have dropped off, thankfully. We no longer have hundreds of proposals to review. Most of the ones we're reviewing are relatively minor changes, some CLO changes, but mostly changing names or something like that to courses. The biggest task we're starting now is reviewing the simple syllabus template, just to make sure there's nothing in there that we possibly don't need in there, to see if we can streamline it, because it's pretty huge as is. Just to make sure that, again, we have everything we need in there, we can get rid of some of the things as well. We'll be talking about that at our next meeting, which will be this week on Friday. But I think that's really the big things we covered.
If I could just put in a plug. So we had a very backloaded lift, right? So we had a lot of work that got turned in the beginning of December. So if there are changes that you represent that would like to make changes in the future, feel free to start that activity now so that those can get put in this semester and not November of next semester.
Thank you so much for your good work. Next week, is there someone who would like to speak on behalf of the recent activities of the Faculty Affairs Council?
Yes,
Dr. Albrecht.
yes, Sarah Albrecht, College of Public Service. The Faculty Affairs Committee met twice in January and has the following updates. Faculty awards and recognition was discussed. The faculty awards review process is underway with over 40 applications received across categories. The committee is proposing to elevate the Distinguished Faculty Award which is endowment funded and distinct from other awards. As part of that, a rebrand to the Distinguished Faculty Endowment Award is under discussion, including a separate fall recognition event, expanded privileges, and clear expectations for recipients as institutional ambassadors. Second, faculty professional development has also been under discussion. CTLE is developing a tiered professional development framework, which includes badges, micro-credentials, and certifications to support faculty documentation and evaluation. The AQ Effective Teaching Practices enrollment is strong, with clarification underway regarding capacity and workload expectations. Deliberative dialogue is also being positioned as a classroom strategy and a shared governance tool, with plans to share resources with the faculty council in the future. External partnerships are being explored to support follow-up professional learning. For lecturer support and policy updates, a university-wide lecturer email list has been finalized. A needs assessment survey is being developed to identify gaps in lecturer support and policy, potentially including clinical faculty. A department chair policy update is in progress to allow lecturer voting rights with the goal of implementation before spring chair elections. For the Faculty Development Award, the annual budget remains at $108,000, which has been unchanged for 5 years, and with a current cap of 10% per applicant. So concerns have been raised about equity of access, over-reliance on the award for travel, and a lack of clear definition of what faculty development is. A subcommittee is reviewing 5 years of data and exploring alternative models, including lower per award caps and possible college level distribution of the award. A faculty survey is being drafted with a proposed model expected to be shared with faculty council in March. And the last thing, for workload policy, the committee is developing a workload policy that extends beyond teaching load with an emphasis on service equity and transparency. Proposed elements include a one-page annual workload plan and a sliding scale across teaching, scholarship, and service. A centralized UHD webpage listing service opportunities was identified as a key infrastructure need. This work is in the early design phase with preliminary updates anticipated later this spring. And one other item that was discussed was faculty concerns about parking lot security at the Washington lot and Zoom capacity in room 606. That's it.
Thank you for your good work, Dr. Albrecht. Any questions about Faculty Affairs Council? I want to address something that Dr. Albrecht brought up. And an invitation has been extended to Dr. Dement to come speak to us at the March meeting specifically about specifically the deliberative dialogue component of ACUE, because there was a sentiment expressed that this might be a very timely time to have that kind of conversation and presentation under the circumstances of what we're doing with our curricular reviews. So thank you, thank you. On behalf of the Research and Innovation Council, I know that Dr. Rufinos wasn't going to be able to. Dr. Quandra, might you speak, please?
Okay, so just a couple of things. We've only met once since the break. The main focus for this spring is going to be reviewing the ORCA proposal review program. We have there's a subgroup working on that, and we have two models. There's discussion about that also being a college process, so moving it to the college. And this has come up for as long as I don't know, for at least the last 5 or 6 years that this has been suggested. So they're looking at that, but looking at two models. One, if we leave it to the college to kind of manage, or a university, keeping the university-wide process, but putting a little bit more structure at the department and college level so that the bulk of the review is not left at the university level, sort of highlighting the need to have discipline-based comments. It's kind of unequal now in terms of how department committees provide sort of review. So they're coming up with 2 models, then we'll share it probably fairly broadly just to get feedback, and then we'll see. Katrina is the representative from Faculty Council, but if you have any suggestions or ideas, you can email them to me, and I can send it to that subgroup. The other thing, well, this is just a plug, for the Orca Symposium, so that is Tuesday, February 24th. Over the past couple of years, I've received requests from faculty who really want to collaborate with faculty outside of their departments, even outside of their college. So the first half of the Orca Symposium will be that opportunity. So people can sign up as like a meetup, and we'll do kind of an activity so that people can connect around and just kind of brainstorm some ways that they can put their skills together to maybe do a more robust type of project. And then the second half will be the traditional presentation. So please sign up. We have plenty of room. So the Orca, the presentations, I typically send it out to people who have received Orca, sort of saying, hey, come show us what you did. But it's open to everybody. Anybody can do a presentation. So, okay, questions?
So it sounds like there are 2 major components to that symposium, that the first part is more of planning or possible collaboration for future requests?
It doesn't have to be just for Orca, right? I mean, really, this started around the TRIP proposal program, the Team Research Incubator Project, because the focus of that really is around collaboration. But I think as I've talked to people, it's just beyond that. Like, what are ways that we can work together on publications? What are ways that we can, sometimes it's led to the development of programs, So I think it's just an opportunity, we can kind of be siloed to sort of say, hey, what are you working on? This is what I'm working on.
The reason I ask is it seems like the 2 parts are opposite sides of the process. Yeah. The first part being more of planning, a collaborative of we could do this next summer, and the second part would be more of a presentation of what we've done with the Orca funds, and this is either ready for presentation or possibly publication. Yeah. So it's both sides of that process.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the 4th year we will have done it, and people who've participated in the past have said, this is really, I'm trying to turn this presentation into a publication. This was great because I was able to present. People came and asked me questions. So I kind of see it as like a low stakes kind of come and present your work, show it to other people, but then you get a lot of input as well. So again, if you haven't had an Orca grant, you can still sign up to present. So, and if not, just come, because that's also fun.
Any questions or comments for Dr. Quander about the research? Thank you again, Dr. Quander. Next up, we have the Policy Advisory Council. Would someone please speak on behalf of what they've done?
I can.
Would you please?
Kenya Johnson.
And we did your name.
No, we did. Kenya Johnson, College of Public Service, and we have met since the break. I think we're in a good place because part of our work involved really going through policies that needed approval or more questions. And I think the biggest takeaway for y'all to know is that we are just working closely around the system that we're using to review the policy so that it is efficient, is swift, and we can get right to where those edits are. And we have been discussing at length the type of edits we prefer to do or our best use of our input and time or more of the substantial ones and not the grammatical ones. So we kind of sorted that out and have like a really good system in place for how we will do that. Also a cadence for or a window, if you will, per semester of when we're most available to do those policies, even though some may be expedited and we have to give them our attention. Please add if I'm forgetting anything.
Thank you so much, Dr. Johnson. A couple of other observations. One, I'd like to offer a shout out to Ms. Leffler and her entire team, Ms. Alvarez, as far as the speed with which they are incorporating and making changes to the process. If you haven't been at a Policy Advisory Council meeting, there are representatives, Dr. Zhang is on as well, there are representatives of all of the constituencies at the university that have some type of stake in whatever these policies are. And so we're moving rapidly to the place where that time we have together is best spent looking at content issues and not editing minor details with sentences. So again, thank you all for your good work and for the good work of everybody that's participating. And then again, to go back to with what Ms. Alvarez said at the beginning, please be aware that when she sends out these blasts, anybody in the community that has some type of stake in whatever the policy is, and we have over 175 of them, please feel free to take a moment and provide your input about them. Finally, would somebody speak on behalf of the Academic Affairs Council, please?
I shall. This is Nell Sullivan. This is going to be a little redundant with some of the other reports since Academic Affairs is kind of a clearinghouse. But first, we last met on December 5th, and Ms. Leffler explained the policy drafts would be available through DocTrack. That's with a C, not a G, so it's DocTrack, which I've been hearing wrong forever, through a link to SharePoint via the Faculty Council website. She stated that 49 more policies were due for review that had not yet been entered into the DocTrack workflow, so I guess more coming down the pipe. And as Ms. Alvarez's email yesterday announced, there's a policy dashboard that's now available. You can get to it through our Faculty Council website. PAC works on all these updates, but some policies, such as finance policies or ones just involving grammar, get expedited reviews. Let's see, FAC is working on professional development for adjuncts. ORCA, FAC, and faculty development grant letters went out at the end of last semester. In UCC news, the AY 27 catalog changes portal is now closed. To flatten the workload, the portal will open for AY 28 catalog changes in spring of 2026, which you all just talked about. Dr. Mandel, on behalf of the Faculty Council, spoke about faculty concerns regarding the details of the curricular review that the provost has just addressed, and that President Blanchard announced in an email in the fall. The provost acknowledged the angst of the faculty, but affirmed that the review, as she just now did, focuses on the core curriculum in compliance with SB 37. The focus is on ensuring outcomes and course descriptions match. In vis-a-vis enrollment, Dr. Nguyen in December noted that the registration in terms of SCHs at that point was down from 2024 by 1.2%, but he was confident that we would get very close to our target SCHs, and I don't know if we did. I hope so. And let's see, with respect to SAC-COC, we got good news on our initial offsite report. There were only a few findings of non-compliance. Some of those were expected because we didn't yet have in our possession the results of audits that needed to be included. And I think this is pretty remarkable, so shout out to the chairs and the deans on this one. Only 7 faculty members were found in the whole university to have credentials that needed to be looked into further, and that includes all the adjuncts, and so that's actually a pretty amazing statistic, so you all get some kudos for that. And so the next meeting is going to be this Friday, the 6th, and that's basically AAC.
Any questions for Dr. Sullivan? Thank you then very, very much for your presentation and your review. Next up, under new business, we've invited Chief Rodriguez to come speak He's just recently come to us, and he's also a Gator. Chief Rodriguez, welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to come speak to the council. As you mentioned, my name is Clemente Rodriguez, and I'm the new chief for our police department here at the University of Houston downtown. It's really a pleasure and honor for me to come back here because I did graduate back in 1998 when there was just one main building for the most part. I think my last, maybe 2 years before I graduated, the new Jones Life building was built. Of course, it was just a recreation center then. So the changes and the growth has been really remarkable. So the opportunity to come back as the chief of police here is really special to me. So a little bit about me. I am a native Houstonian. Prior to coming here to the University of Houston downtown, I had a very great, enjoyable career with the Rice University Police Department for 24 plus years, where I worked my way up from police officer to chief of police. I was the chief there for the last 6 years, and it was a great experience. I learned a lot and gained a lot of knowledge. I've been in the criminal justice field pretty much my entire life. Went to the high school for law enforcement and criminal justice. I worked as a correction officer. I worked as a precinct investigator. I've been a probation officer. So I've done a lot of different things, and I think all of those have helped prepare me for all of the challenges that we see in law enforcement today. And as I got here to UH downtown, I did realize we have some challenges. Not unlike many other departments, we're facing a staffing shortage. And that's one of my number one things that I'm trying to address at this time. I heard it mentioned earlier about concerns at parking lots and garages, and I definitely can understand that. And so what you may or may not know is right now we have a shortage where when you're trying to hire police officers, it's not like most positions that there is a lengthy process and evaluation before we can hire someone because of the nature of what we do. So the background process and from the point that we put out our application to hiring can be anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks. And I'm trying to expedite that without bringing in the wrong folks into our environment, because it is so important that we bring the right officers here that understand how to be a police officer in a higher education institute. Because my career has been pretty much all in higher ed, I did work for the city of Deer Park before I worked for Rice University, but my understanding is the nature of what a police officer does here is somewhat different than what you see in a municipality police agency. And so I want to make sure we're hiring the right good fit people. But to address those issues of concerns about safety between the parking lot, I mean, we're in downtown Houston. I am looking at, and I should be hopefully starting a new program of what we call contract officers, where we're gonna, until we can staff up the replacements that we need, hiring officers from other agencies to be visible out in the parking lot areas and the garages on the exterior parts of campus of the buildings, where I want our community to feel safe when they're coming to school or coming to work or coming to visit. Because without that visibility, I understand where people can feel alone out there. My daughter has a good friend. She just graduated from University of Houston main campus, but she has a good friend that comes here, and she asked her about, now that I'm the chief, does she feel safer? And she mentioned that she takes the bus here because cost-wise, it was more effective for her. And I know a lot of our members of our community do that. But when she comes in the evening at nights, the way she described it was, I feel like I'm walking through Gotham City. And I thought, whoa, okay, we've got to address that issue, and I want our community to feel safe. So that's one of the things we're doing. But beyond that, I'm looking at everything else, all of our processes. We have the Safe Zone app, and I'm going to try to really push that out to people to get that. I told my daughter, tell her to sign up for the app so that she feels a little safer. But we're going to look at technology and how we can leverage technology to help us create a safer environment on the campus. Obviously, that's my number one priority, is to build a safe environment. And there's different ways that you can do that. Through leveraging technology and also leveraging, in my career, my 24 plus year career, I did have the honor and the privilege of being able to get involved with a lot of associations in this area. And through that, I built a lot of relationships with fellow agencies in the Houston area. And I had a meeting just about a week and a half ago with the Metro Police Chief, and I talked to him about the rail comes right in front of our campus. Many of our students take the bus. can I get some additional help with visibility from your agency as well? You know, especially at the beginning of the semesters when we have new students and parents who want to make sure they're safe. And he gave me a commitment like, not a problem. So I'm going to try to leverage those relationships that I've built in this law enforcement community in this region to bring some additional, help to us, because we have to work together. So I'm really big on relationship building. I hope to build as many relationships internally here as I have externally, because safety really is, everybody's responsibility. So we're going to try to do educational programs, more educational programs to help our community, understand how they can take some proactive measures to keep themselves safe, as well as us, our responsibility to do that. So those are some of the things that I plan on doing. But if there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. But it's just, I've been here about a month now. I started January 5th, still drinking from the water hose. But everybody has been so welcoming, and I just feel very comfortable. Still learning new buildings. It's great, but I'm really excited and hope to really build a strong department focused on collaboration and service. All right, thank you guys.
Chief, any questions?
Yeah, any questions? Don't be shy.
Okay, I do have a question, but I'm not even sure that you're the person who can address it, but, I'm sorry, I'm Dr. Sullivan. I had a colleague call me at home on Saturday upset because of the IT disruption. You couldn't use your car to get in the parking garage.
Mm.
And she said the call button didn't work, so she just had to back up and drive over to the police station. They told her she could park right in front of there. But is there a way we could, and I guess this is to all administrators, because I got blocked in the garage when they were taking the crane apart and had to spend a night here last fall, because there was no announcement that the garage would be closed at a certain point. And everybody was like, why didn't you just take an Uber? And I'm like, well, then I would have to Uber back to get my car. So I just slept on the floor of my office, which is not fun. But it seems to be a pattern of there is no communication about the parking garage to faculty members. And I know that some of us are just kind of unusual because we like to work here on the weekends. But if we know that a garage is not working or is going to be closed, how hard is it to use the app that emails us or texts us on our phone to let us know that, so people don't come downtown or don't get stuck in the building, a creepy building over the weekend? And I know I have a really boring life, but I really would have rather been home on Saturday night. But I think this weekend it was kind of a bad weekend because our faculty annual evaluations were due, and so some people work in their office to gather materials for that. So is there any way we can work on the communication aspect when something is amiss with the parking garage, that people could be alerted before they try to come to campus about that scenario?
I think that's a very reasonable ask, and so thank you for bringing that to my attention. So IT is not something that I'm responsible for, but we work closely with IT, and so we do get alerted when there's an outage, and parking and transportation is under my responsibility. So just so everybody knows, I oversee police department, parking and transportation, and emergency management and security access. So yes, it is partly, it's my responsibility when there's an issue in the garage. So what you're describing, really, I would never want that to happen to anyone. So I will take that back to my team to find out, if there's an IT disruption, does that mean the microphone will not work either? And if that's the case, then we need to do a better job, even if it's as simple as going out and putting a note, because it's down, call dispatch for assistance. There are things that I'm gonna have to try to encourage my team to feel empowered to think beyond, outside the box, and just be creative and handle solutions. So I encourage you in those situations to call the dispatch so we can try to get, you should not have had to stay and sleep overnight. The crane, maybe, I don't know, there might not have been much there at that time, but the communication part is definitely something that I think we could have done better. because we do normally hear about things like there's going to be a crane and the roads and so forth. So I can talk to my team and to University Public Affairs about how can we work together to get those messages out to the entire community. And we can leverage the Everbridge app, which is the mass notification system. And my emergency management team, they're very good at it. So not really a problem. So it sounds like a gap that we need to fill. So I will take the ownership of that, and I will take that back to my team to see if we can do better on that.
Thank you. And do you know if the emergency call boxes that are located around our map are routed through that same system? Because that's another concern that I have, that somebody in the garage during that outage who was possibly in danger would faithfully push the button thinking they would get a response, and if it's routed through that same.
I don't believe so, because those are like phone lines.
Okay.
Those emergency boxes, those should still work just like a phone line. I'm not even sure if the garage one shouldn't have worked for you. I think it should have. So it might not have been an IT-related issue. That might have been a different issue, and we'll have to find out what happened on that. So that was this past weekend. Obviously, I know there was some IT work being done, and fixing some of the network issues that I think we started having last week. That was a lot of it was beyond our control, but we were getting it worked out, or our IT team was working on that. So, no, the boxes should still work. Those are more like landline type devices. Yes, sir.
I would like to echo, actually, that's my personal experience over the winter break. Actually, I parked my car, and then the police department called me and saying that he couldn't park that place because some maintenance or something. Then luckily, because my car is Tesla, so I can authorize someone to drive my car from police department to the other layers. But the question was, I was noticing the structure issue is that right after that, I received the email from my college saying that, okay, that place you cannot park. But I think there was a disconnection between the police department and the individual faculty who will be impacted by this policy. So shall we, for example, not wholly rely on the college to distribute the information of maintenance so that the faculty will be aware?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. Luckily, my case was resolved, but I think we could be a little bit more proactive in telling the faculty that, okay, this place cannot be parked, right? Because it was crazy. Thank you, my colleague, Dr. Daoi, actually, she was in the spot, and they were pretty much calling me like crazily, and you couldn't park here. I was like, I didn't know that because there was no message, no email coming up. And right after that, 5 minutes after the problem was resolved, I received the email saying that from college that that floor cannot be parked.
Yeah. So again, that sounds like better communication. Earlier communication. So I will talk to the parking and transportation supervisor who oversees and should hopefully know those things. And as soon as we get them now, sometimes those things are quick. Something happened or some reason a repair needs to be made. I'm not saying that was the case in this one, but whatever we need to try to communicate that as quickly as possible. Again, leveraging the systems that go to everybody's phone, because email sometimes, we're not always attached to our email as much as sometimes we think we are. So again, that sounds like a communication area and another area for me to look at for improvement with our parking and transportation team. And we are doing that. I think there was a survey that went out just recently on transportation. We're trying to look at that, and are we meeting the needs, or is there a better way to meet the needs of our community that are coming onto campus? So yes, we have work to do for improvements, and I appreciate the feedback, because I need that feedback in order to know exactly where to address those issues. So, but and please, if you have an issue, don't hesitate to reach out to me and call me and contact me. I'd be more than happy. I've always been the type of person that, look, if it's something that we did, I will take the ownership, and it's on me to fix it. That's just the way my philosophy has always been. So my apologies for you sleeping on the floor. That's not good, not good at all.
Any other questions or comments for the chief? I'd also...
Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
I'd also like to end on a positive note that the folks that staff the spot just outside of the bookstore on the third floor.
Oh, yes,
To
yes.
an individual are fabulous.
Yes.
They're very cautious, they take good care of students, faculty, and staff, and they're also just pleasant to talk to.
Yeah.
And
Thank
so-
you.
so
That's
thank
good to hear.
you. Thank you, kudos to them.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'll make sure and pass it on. Yes, I agree. I enjoy walking by there and stopping by. They're always really pleasant. And that's good because they're right there at the front door. A very important position. So thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Next up,
Cassidy, hi.
said she'd like to come speak to us about wellness events coming up.
Yeah, and I have some handouts if that's okay. Any questions? So these are essentially just kind of save the dates. They were created for all of our staff members. Again, my name's Cassidy. I'm one of the benefits and compensation specialists up in HR. But this is a flyer that we made for our staff, and I just want to make sure that this extends also to faculty because you are part of our community as well. There are things happening on campus, and we want to make sure that you're also pouring into your wellness. So I just want to point out that we have Catapult coming to campus. This is like your annual physical, so you don't have to, let's say you're having your office hours, you don't have to leave campus. If you have health insurance, you should be able to make an appointment with them to come to campus and get your annual physical actually right in this space. So that'll be happening next week. We're also having the Rose Mammogram mobile bus come to campus, and that RSVP is open online. Tacos and Trainers is an event that's being hosted by the WSC. It's free birria tacos, and you get a 30-minute free fitness class. Eat the Rainbow is all about learning how the different colors of the rainbow are good to eat and how they impact our bodies. We'll also have a Social Security benefits webinar coming up in March. I don't know how many of y'all are involved with Get Fit. Are there any in this room? Do you know what I'm talking about? Awesome, okay. So right now, our campus, about 168 participants right now are engaging in our Get Fit campaign, which is essentially a program from, well, it was from January, but you can still sign up, it's not too late. Till the end of March, we are just trying to get minutes of activity in, essentially. So each week there are drawings and there will be an award ceremony at the very end. And it's really just to promote like your physical activity. We want to have a happy and well campus. So there's that. We'll also have during well, it's not Earth Day, so Earth Week, I guess, which I guess should be every week. We will have our totally sustainable make your own tote bags, and that'll be happening in this building on in North 600, the HR training room. And then we'll be offering a mental health lunchtime yoga session in the 40,000 Windows Cafe, which is located in the library. And so that's kind of what we have on the docket that we are hosting and collaborating with at the WSC. But also, I'll note, and this was made for staff, so I apologize for the QR codes. Those are irrelevant. But on the back, if you are involved in the Get Fit Texas program, you have free access to the gym from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. every single day, except for Saturday, Sunday, so weekdays. And there are classes that you can attend during that time as well. So they've been adjusting their classes a bit. So right now, the free one would be your hip hop step, and then the rest would be your like Pilates at the bar, Zumba, yoga, hip hop step, and more Zumba and yoga. So those would be offered after hours, which would be when you would have to have a gym membership to be able to access those classes. So I spewed a lot of save the dates because I know I only have a little bit of time, but I don't know, my role is to promote wellness here. If y'all aren't pouring into yourself, we know higher education is just a lovely space that brews some burnout culture, and so if we can create and foster a space that promotes taking care of ourselves, that's my whole point, is to offer the programs to help you do so. Is a tote bag going to do that? Maybe not, but maybe that's a step in the right direction. So, anyways, are there any questions about dates or anything? Cool. Cool. Well, thanks for having me. Share with your people. Pretty please. We would love more involvement, especially in our Get Fit Texas program. But I would love to see some of y'all's faces. We know that seeing leadership in these spaces communicates to others that it's okay that they're also taking care of themselves. So just a gentle reminder that you showing up matters. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Giles. Oh, Ms. Giles.
Sorry, I should have been faster.
Yes.
This is Catherine Shoemaker, sorry.
Yes.
Quick question for you. I apologize if it's already in my email and I totally missed it.
That's
Is
okay.
there a way to get a digital version of that little flyer that's so cute?
Sure. I can send it out to you, and can you send it out to everybody else by chance? Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Or I can just look up your name, Catherine Shoemaker. That makes it a lot easier, unless there's more people that would like it.
I was just gonna send it to my department and I realized the only way I had right now was like to scan it and I'm being lazy. So.
Yeah, no, I'll share it. Great. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Giles. If a moment in the gym gets you a fraction of the energy that you've got, I think we all should be there. Thank you so very much. Next up, Dr. Schroff has asked to speak a bit about a program she's working with.
Hi everyone. I'm hoping that you are familiar with the VITA program. So some are shaking their heads in the right direction. I like that direction. I want to say that this is a free tax help program. We do say that, you know, if you have income less than $67,000, if you go down the page, but we do prepare tax returns for anyone who fits in the other categories. If you are a student, if you are a non-English speaking person, etc., we do prepare tax returns. And there are people in this room who have benefited from this service last year. So just to give you some idea as to how well we did last year, when we didn't even have as many volunteers, it was just faculty who was doing most of the work. We prepared about 400 returns. Total tax refund was $500,000, close to $500,000. And we prepared returns for those who actually got money in terms of earned income credit. And that was close to $82,000. On average, we worked over 60, 80 hours a week. I did personally work many hours. But now the program is streamlined. I want to give a huge shout out to Emily, to the provost office, to Syed, who's also sitting here, to who else? I mean, there are so many people who has helped us in tremendous ways in marketing this program. So I'm asking you, urging you guys to spread the word. Let us help people with their tax returns. It's free, and you get me. I have 25 years of CPA experience. I charge close to $500 per tax return. You get it for free. So you can reach out to me and spread the word and help us make it a great program. It is a huge socio-economic impact for the university. We will work 5 days a week. We also prepare tax returns online. So you don't have to come to us. You can make an appointment right here. So the first link is for students to volunteer, but you can actually make an appointment right here by clicking this link, and it will take you to an appointment page. You make an appointment, we'll send you a Zoom link, and we will prepare your taxes online, virtually. We have many ways to do this. In person, it's walk-in. You don't need an appointment. It is at the MDCOB building on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And on the fourth floor near the library, room number 412 and 414 for Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So we are working hard. Let me see if anybody needs help. If I can help, please come. That's any questions for the VITA program? It is called the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. And thank you. The Provost Office has really helped me a lot. Emily particularly, thanks. Any questions? All right then. Well, if you have questions, you can always write to me. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Shroff, and for the good things you're doing for the UHD community. We are now at a point where the floor is open for anybody that would like to speak. Mr. Fidel, and then AVP. Yeah.
AVP by
Okay, bye.
first.
Good afternoon, Divya Bari, Associate VP for Institutional Effectiveness. I wish we could all have Cassidy's enthusiasm. We have SAC-COC, as you know, SAC-COC on-site visit coming up next month, exactly the same time. We are having this a month later. They'll be here March 2nd through 5th. And we are in very good shape. After last week, we had a conversation with the chair of the committee, Dr. Steinke. And she was telling us, you make the schedule. So when the chair tells you to make the schedule, that means we're in great shape. So kudos to you all. Thank you for all your hard work and contributions since last 2 years, and compliance certification report and the focus report. As Dr. Sullivan was saying, that we had just 5 additional areas for questions from them. So hopefully, knock on the wood, as Cassidy was saying, show that enthusiasm, show UHD. You see those folks around the campus next month, have a smile on your face, and smile speaks 1,000 words. Thank you so much.
Anybody have any questions for Dr. Bobby?
Oh, yes, I forgot. We have a mock review coming up. We have folks from UH, 5 people from UH coming, 2 from TAMU Victoria, and 1 from UH Clear Lake. They will be our mock reviewers. We'll have a dry run on February 10th, which is next Tuesday. So we'll have like an actual sessions with the folks for different standards. And so that's just a dry run. And then in addition to that, we are having preparation sessions related to different standards ongoing since last, I think, January onwards. We started those sessions. And we are also having virtual sessions, and some of you attended virtual sessions for faculty and staff and for students.
Thank you, Dr. Bobby. Mr. Fidel.
Do you want me to get that mic from you?
The floor recognizes you.
Thank you. My question is about the new Sodexo Magic catering system that we kind of mentioned at last meeting, but we didn't get, that was it. We just said, hey, we're having a new catering service. And so I don't really know anything about Sodexo Magic yet. I just looked him up. Actually, the Magic is Irving Magic Johnson, so he's one of the owners of this, so I just learned that information just now. But what I really want to focus on, just trying to get some more information before the next faculty council meeting, and trying to get more information about catering and how catering will work from them. We did have an issue with our last catering company about first right of refusal and what the rules are for catering, how much money are we allowed to spend before we have to reach them. There's not really any information on the website yet. So just before our next council, not today, if there's anyone in this room that knows off the top of their head, but just before the next council meeting, if we can get some more information on that. Thank you.
We can make that happen, Mr. Fidel. Thank you for bringing that to light.
Paul, I believe Dr. Huang.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's not related, it's moving on to another issue, another question. Thank you. Were there any questions for Luke Fidel or comments? Sorry. I just have a question. I'm not sure who I'm directing it to, so I'm looking at Provost Bordelon. With the announcement of President Blanchard leaving in May, do we have any idea of a search, an interim president? Is there anything that we need to be aware of?
I was waiting for that question. Yes. At this point, I actually do not have any information. But the way that this works, and again, it is bittersweet. It's a wonderful opportunity for Dr. Blanchard, but it is our loss, but we do wish him well. But the chancellor will name an interim, and then once that is done, more to come on the search process. So right now, we have not gotten any word as far as who that interim may be, what that process will be. But that is how it will happen. So we'll have the chancellor will identify an interim. Once that person is in place, then she will determine when that search process will be for the permanent person. It will be a national search. Again, kind of going back to SB 37, there are some guidelines now with the search process for president, so it'll look a little different. The board will be very much involved in that process. But as soon as we hear information, we will let you know. There will be, I'm sure, celebrations on campus for Dr. Blanchard, and we'll be sharing that information, so we would love to have all of you participate in that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that question, Dr. Wong. Is, in the 15 minutes we have left, is there anybody else that would, yes, sir, please.
Good afternoon. Hi, my name is Hussein Shiroki. I'm the CIO here. Just real quick, couple of things. One, we rolled out the new UHD Gator mobile apps. It was kind of unofficial in December-ish and went full rollout in January. I just wanted to ask you guys to take a look at it, download it. It's not just for students. It's for students, but it also has section for faculty, staff, alumni, and prospective students. So please take the time to look at it, but also encourage your students to download it. We have about 2,000 downloads, but I'd like to see it get to a lot higher. It has everything from just being able to look at your assignments on campus that comes to you, as opposed to you have to log in to go in there, pay your tuitions, look at your the classes, to getting deadline stuff, food stuff, parking stuff, all kind of things. So please do that. The other thing is I want to sort of point out the location of our strategic plan for IT. Sometimes you hear from SACS people that, do you know your strategic plans? Do you know your strategic plan from different groups? It's always posted. It's called a roadmap, technology roadmap. It's always posted on IT sites. And I encourage you to take a look. It's living documents. We update it regularly. You find it on the left side on navigations under information technology piece, under the part that says the strategic plans and policies. And again, familiar yourself in case the SACS does ask you. Last thing we want to know is we want to hear from them saying, people said, we don't know what you're talking about. So please do that. Thank you very much.
If I make a request, at the last President's Extended Cabinet meeting, a colleague of yours did a magnificent presentation about the mobile app. Could we invite the two of you to come do that presentation at our March meeting, please?
Certainly.
Thank you. It's really a very powerful tool, and they've done an awful lot of work. And so the next step will be actually, they're doing it in phases, and the next step will be what faculty can do with it, and you said at the time
that's already up. That's already up.
You're looking for input from faculty.
Yes, absolutely. And again, it does have a feedback on the bottom. You can, or just feel free to call us or call me. Good. Anything else I can? All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else in the public? Yes, please, Ms. Giles.
Sorry, I'm back. I just wanted to confirm with y'all, I spoke with my supervisor, and these QR codes do apply to you all. So I just wanted to share with you that for the fitness release time, the QR code takes you to a form where you get an additional 30 minutes 3 times per week to be able to work out during the business day. It's protected workout time. And then the wellness leave app is essentially proving to us that you've seen your primary care or your primary physician, you've done your annual physical, and you've taken an assessment on our Buena Vida app, or ERS's Buena Vida app, and then that's a free 8 hours that you get to use for wellness leave. So that's a day to you all. So it's for staff and faculty, and so I just wanted to make sure I highlighted those. We have about 48 people who are participating in our fitness release time right now, and not enough know about the wellness leave. So if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. There are step-by-step directions on the application as well. So, any questions about that?
Thank you. Thank you again. Anybody else? Does anybody from the floor in the council have any question, concern, comments? If not, it is now 3:50. May I have entertain a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Dr. Benavides, do I have a second?
Second.
Dr. Alvarez? And Mr. Miller. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, stay here until our next meeting.